Hello, everybody. This is Justin Gray, sports editor for the Bell Ringer and communication major at Augusta University, with another edition of the Sports Squad from Bell Ringer Phoenix Media. Today, on this edition, we have a MLB edition of the Sports Squad. But before we will discuss AU athletics and the first round of March Madness, our panel includes AU cross country runners Patrick Motes and Avery Jaynes, and our producer Jaxon Garner. Welcome in, everyone.
Good night.
What's up?
A little bit of a late night. Patrick, we didn't think he'd make it. It is 9:37 Eastern time.
Stop.
This is past his bedtime.
I don't know about that stretch.
But we are coming to you virtually. I'm working with CBS Sports this week, so I'm not going to be able to be in studio tomorrow morning. So we're going to do it this way for the next few weeks. And Jaxon starts next week. But anyway, we'll start off with you guys. Did you guys go to Emory last weekend, or was that just
like sprints and mid distance?
Okay. So none of y'all.
No, they had a couple of distance people out there. I went over there to watch it and stuff like that. And I was there Friday night to watch them. And shout out to the girls that ran that night. They did really, really well. So a couple PRs, some of them PR'd massively. And it was a good time out there. Like, it was fun, good atmosphere, a lot of teams, pretty decent times too. So shout out to them. They did a really good job.
So why didn't you guys run?
Coach wants us training through because Avery got Raleigh this week and we've got Anderson next week.
Gotcha.
Avery, are you racing Anderson?
No, I'll just train through for that one.
That's what I thought. I just couldn't
Live
remember.
announcement. Avery just said he wasn't racing next week. All the fans up in
Anderson can breathe. They can breathe that he's not going to come in there and go BTA on them.
I'll be on camera duty that day. I'll take pictures for the team.
That's what I'm talking about. That's just a guy that just wants it. He just wants it. He's the kind of guy you need on your roster.
It's an all-around threat, right?
That's right. So this weekend, Avery, you go to Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that and what you're hoping for. I know Patrick already gave us a prediction.
I didn't say anything.
You did. You gave us a prediction. It's on the Instagram.
Oh, the prediction. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Not about this. Go ahead.
I'm hopeful. The heat sheets just got released like 10 minutes ago, and not looking the best. I was supposed to be, or potentially they were going to try and put me in a pretty quick heat. Turns out that's not the case. So I'm one of the fastest guys in my heat now, which is just not kind of what we were hoping for. But that's okay. Just got to go out there. Going to have to grind a little bit harder than what we would have liked. It's easier to get pulled. So I'm just going to have to get up front, do some work, but used to that. So might not be as quick as we were hoping for, but hey, gonna go for a PR either way.
So you wanted to run in a heat with a lot, or like faster, same speed or faster than you, so you could run a faster time.
Yeah, somewhere where I could just sit in the back or in the mid and just kind of, turn my brain off and just follow. It's not going to be the case most likely this weekend. So just gotta go in with a little bit more of a mental focus than what we may have thought, but that's okay.
Patrick, are you going up to Raleigh, or you're going to be here in Augusta this weekend?
No, I'm going to be here in Augusta. I would, because I would love to watch Emily run, but it's a far drive, and I am on cat duty this week. I'm taking care of her cat while she's gone. So, and we've got like classes and practice and work that we've got to do. So it'll be a normal week here, but I'm sending all my love and support for our fellow Jags up with them.
How far is the drive? Like 5.5 hours?
Something like that. I think we leave at 11, and we're supposed to get there around 4:30, 4:40.
Yeah.
Factoring in like lunch and stuff. So it's not too bad.
That makes sense. So good luck to you this weekend. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Who determines the heats? Is it like NC State, or is it like all the coaches combined?
NC State. The way this works is you have to have like a seed time to get in. And you can your coach can submit like a reason why you should be in this race, and and like why you should be seated at a certain time. And we were told that there was a chance that I'd be seated at 14:05, but I guess that didn't happen. So it's up to the NC State coaches to kind of submit everything and schedule everything out.
Well, we know you're going to break a PR and the school record and everything that comes along with that. And what'd you say he'll get the whatever to go to the big meet out in California? This is a big thing to do that at, right? Patrick, you said something about that.
Oh yeah.
Or is that not coincide?
So like this meet really doesn't have like anything to do with that. I was just saying it was a good stepping stone to get ready for that meet because I mean this meet is probably one of the, I think everyone would agree, is probably one of the biggest meets on the East Coast. We were kind of going through all the teams. Like I was looking at the heat sheets before the show and stuff, and there's teams everywhere. Like Coach Ward that used to coach here is bringing his team on down. There's teams like Flagler will be there. You've got like UVA, UGA, Georgia Tech. Everybody will be there. So NC State, obviously, UVA, if I already said that. Just a lot of teams. So it would be a good stepping stone for that because Brian Clay is a huge meet too. So I was very optimistic. I'm still optimistic for Avery because I think he's going to go out there and crush it regardless. But I thought it would be a really good step. And it still might be. I mean, the race hasn't been raced yet. A lot can happen. So you never know who might be feeling – a couple guys might be feeling really good that day. And boom. Like even like 14, 15. That's like what? That's a 8-second PR for you?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's a fat drop, dude. Money.
So, question. If you win your heat, is that it? Or you like race again? Or is it like, I guess what I'm trying to ask, like, how is there a winner of the race determined if there's different heats of it?
Just who has the fastest time.
So you just
It'll probably be the winner of the very last heat because that's like the fastest heat. So whoever wins that'll probably.
There's no like qualifying rounds for this. It's just they're going to stack up all the times.
It's just based on time.
Fastest to slowest.
Gotcha. Well, good luck this weekend, and hope you do well. You're listening to the Sports Squad from Bear Ringer Phoenix Media. We'll move on to spring sports. A lot to talk about. I said it was a little downtime, and it kind of was, but baseball team found a game with USC Beaufort that was a non-conference game against a conference opponent because they had already played. They didn't have any games this weekend. They wanted to get some action on the field. They lost that one and then lost to Francis Marion. That went final about 20 minutes ago. Tonight, they play at SRP Park tomorrow. So come on out. If you don't come on out, you can tune into the Peachfield Sports Network. I'll have the game live at 6:35. That is Eastern time if you are in Japan. And then softball, they were swept by USC. So it was a good weekend for USC Beaufort against the Jags. They swept the Jags. And then yesterday, softball team won 3-2 both games against Southern Wesleyan. Then in men's golf, they struggled this weekend down at the Valspar Collegiate Invitational. That's where the PGA Tour was this past weekend, and then the Monday after they start the college version at the same course because Luke Clanton, who got his PGA Tour card, played in the tournament and then had to play 36 holes of golf the last 2 days or whatever after the PGA Tour tournament in the college tournament. So he's had quite the adventure the last few days. The Jags finished, I think I finished last in that one. And then Stephon Jacobs finished the highest for the Jags, and he tied with John Daly Jr. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Like John Daly's son?
Yeah, it wouldn't be John Daly. I mean, if it wasn't his son.
I didn't know he had a junior.
He plays at Arkansas.
I was just like, what?
He plays at Arkansas.
That makes sense. I can see that.
If you're into the YouTube golf world, I know Jackson is. He's on a lot of YouTube golf videos. He played with Grant Horvat, and he's actually good. Like he's not.
He's played at Arkansas number one.
Yeah, they're one of the best teams in the country. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously his dad got him some clout. I mean, Bronny James is playing in the. We won't talk about that, but I mean, your dad gets you.
I'll give him some flowers. He's playing. Bronny's playing a little bit better. He's playing a little bit better. Like he's putting up some points, some good shots. He's going off.
Right now he's playing guys that are plumbers on the side. I mean, I'm not
Look,
hating
all
on
I'm
the
gonna
G
say
League.
is
You got to
though
be
that
a special athlete, but this isn't like the minor
Look.
leagues where they're trying to make it. These guys are just doing this as a side gig.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm not going to disagree with you yet, but he's making more money than I'll ever have. So congrats to him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, don't shoot yourself down like that. You never know. You could become the greatest.
I'm not going to
game player of
inherit,
all time.
the lifetime contract. All right, let's. You're really here.
So, anyways, the women's golf, they play this weekend in the More Than Golf Invitational in Aiken, South Carolina. And then men's and women's tennis both defeated Emmanuel today, 5-0 on the men's side and 4-0 on the women's. So that's all we've had for spring sports. I will say basketball side of things, Lenore Ryan is about to tip off at the Elite Eight. Patrick, you could not play college basketball, dog. You would not be able to play these type of games. 9:30 at night. You would
Oh,
make it.
I was like, dang, bro, saying
Yeah,
like
he's
I got
falling
no
asleep
game right now.
already.
Oh, 9:39. No, we'd be ready. We've raced late at night before. You just take a nap later in the afternoon. You're ready to go.
Or you don't have to take a nap. You could just stay up the entire day.
But what's wrong with a nap?
There's nothing wrong with a nap. I love a good
Exactly.
nap.
My point.
Anyways, they are about to tip off with Washburn, who is 29-3. It's already they have tipped off. It's 13-4 Washburn. So bad start for the Bears. Guess we could keep that updated as we go, but we'll dive into some March Madness. A little quick recap this past weekend. I will say I gotta start off flaming hot. The absolute worst thing of all time is to be is for your team to lose within the first 3 games of the tournament, because then you don't care to watch.
Clemson got bounced so early.
Like you don't care. Why are we playing at 3? I would much rather play like the night at night or the next day. Like last year we played the next day. I mean, I know we won, but God, I mean, 3:15 on day 1 of March Madness. You put up 13 points in the first. I've never seen anything. We'll just dive right in. I've never seen a worse performance.
McNeese.
I've never seen
Yeah,
worse
that was
performance.
bad.
I mean, at least
I will
UGA
say
got bullied by
I am
legit.
very thankful for Georgia. I'm very thankful for Georgia for it being 27-3 while we were still getting our teeth kicked in, because it kind of took some of the heat off of us. But at least it's Gonzaga and not McNeese State. I mean, God, I've never in my life – I walked out of the house. I was watching with my buddy. I walked out of the house at halftime, and I had to go walk around because I literally couldn't – I only thing I did was throw my hat, which is a good thing, because usually the trash can gets it, usually the wall gets it, something gets it. Okay, especially like it was so bad I started laughing, which is that's not normal for me. And 13 points. I mean, I think us 4 out here could have found a way to score 13 points in the first day. 20 minutes. 20 minutes.
I agree.
I'm sorry.
Even at 9:30 at night, I'm confident that we could have done it.
Against all odds at 9:30 at night. Against all odds.
All right, Justin. Here's my question to you. What is worse, having your team bounced in the first round of March Madness, or
if you're about to ask football,
getting upset in college football and it's breaking the internet? What's worse?
I would much rather lose in March Madness. I saw this post the other day. You guys have to understand. I'm a huge Clemson basketball fan. There's not many of us because we are such a football school. And I can say we because I'm a part of Clemson University now. I like to announce that I am going to Clemson next year. So I am part. I can't say we, but I'm a huge Clemson basketball fan. But nothing hurts worse than a loss in October to School of the Blind Syracuse. Then that hurts way worse than losing in the first round of March Madness. I'm sorry. March Madness, anything could happen. You can go 39-0 or 31-0 and lose in the first round to Fairleigh Dickinson. It can happen to anybody. And that's why basketball is so stupid, is you can go 31-0, lose one game and your season's over. That's why it's so
here's the thing though. I went back and poked at last week's episode. We had some bad takes, dude. Especially me. I was like,
that's part of this tournament.
I was like, oh, I think Illinois is going to bounce Kentucky. Nope. I
Hey,
thought that-
speaking of bad, my champ's down, but I'd like to point out I'm doing pretty good right now. I'm doing pretty
He's still
good.
pretty good. He doesn't have
I'm
his
third
chance.
right now. Last I
That's
checked.
crazy.
I mean, I had
Well,
Clemson
yeah,
on the fourth, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
probably
rough.
gonna fall after this next week, but
I
all I'm
let
gonna
my
say is
girlfriend enter it because
I'm doing pretty good right now.
Look,
let
all
her
I'm
do it
saying
because I
is my
wanted to.
team Duke is running through everybody right now. I'm hoping they get
Okay,
the
hold
Arizona.
up. What is this my team do? We got to pick something, Patrick. We can't post Georgia making the tournament and Duke making the tournament.
Can too.
Like,
Can too.
no, you
I
can.
can't help. I
Doesn't
can't
mean
help
it's
that the football
legitimate.
school finally got a little bit better at basketball. Okay, but I
Okay,
grew
here's
up
my
watching
problem
Duke my
with it.
entire life.
It's not that you have two different schools. It's that you have Georgia and Duke. Georgia, you're from. I get that, but Duke, you have come on, man. You just pick the best basketball school to be a fan of.
My parents picked it for me when I started watching basketball when I was younger. It was like, this is the team that we all watch. And my grandparents
enough.
watched it. My uncle watched it. I was like, all right, this is it. So,
I mean, fair enough. Fair enough.
ain't nothing I can do about it. I'm just glad that they were smart and didn't raise me to be a UNC fan. Like, oh, yeah, that'd been terrible.
About the same as the Duke fan, let's be honest here. That's just about the same. Maybe not because you grew up watching Duke. I mean, you're going to have a little bias towards that. But anyways, Patrick's a mega Duke fan. But yes,
Yes.
my girlfriend also had UConn to win it all, Avery, in our bracket pool. And she was so excited after day one because Louisville lost, only to find out that Louisville was in her Elite Eight. It was rough.
Hey, UConn gave Florida a good run. I actually thought they were going to win for a little bit.
I was low-key hoping they would win, but I was low-key hoping they wouldn't because I was like, I still need my bracket, but it would be really funny if Avery just clutches this up.
Avery
That would have
losing
been the
this week.
greatest
I mean,
pick of all
Avery.
time.
You had me thinking for a while. I was like, is Avery about to clutch up the entire bracketology system or something? This is crazy.
It's hard to take down the champs. I mean, I had Florida losing in the Sweet 16 anyway, and I still do, obviously. So I didn't care. I was like, whatever. If I lose another, I mean, I've only lost 3 Sweet 16 teams, and that's Clemson, or Iowa State, and St. John's. So I mean, I'm pretty proud of that. Only lost 1 Elite 8 team this weekend. Still have all Final Four teams.
Speaking of UConn, though, we're not going to talk about Dan Hurley and his little potty mouth afterwards.
I mean, we can talk about it. The man's emotional.
I mean, he just lost a hard game, you know?
I mean, he probably should realize that he's won 2 national championships. We got to tone it down a little bit. He's starting to get a little annoying like Nate Oates. I hate that guy, by the way. Hate Nate Oates. Hate him. Just like John Shire. Can't stand him either. But I did pick him to win it all, which will kill me because he's a terrible coach. But we're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that. But yes, Dan Hurley's got
right now. Cooper Flagg is coming back for another year. That man does not want to be a Washington Wizard or a Charlotte Hornet. He doesn't care for that. He's coming back for another year.
Next year, if he goes, he's going to be a Washington Wizard or a Charlotte Hornet. He
like
knows
4
there's
years
no end in sight.
and win at
just
least
make more
3
money
national
at Duke.
championships.
Let's be honest.
Guys,
He'll make
basketball
more.
players, even if we think it's smarter and the NBA sucks, basketball guys dream of playing in the NBA. Whether it sucks, whether it's not the same product it was 10 years ago, those guys all want to play in the NBA. Because
here's my thing. 1, he'll make more in college. I'm telling you.
You're not wrong.
And 2, he's openly said he's not against, he really wants to play on the college level. So maybe he's just I don't really care how talented I am. I want to play college. I think it would be – I personally think Duke aside and all that, I think it would be good for the sport to finally see, someone who's, uber talented like he is actually stay and not do a one-and-done. Even though everybody's like, oh, the money, he's going to make plenty of money in college. I think it would be good for the sport because I think it might kind of calm down the college basketball just a little bit. We see so many one-and-dones. I think it would be good.
I mean, I've heard he was going. The reason I say he's leaving is because I heard he was going to the portal and he was coming down south a little bit to Clemson. That's just what I've heard. But no,
in your dreams, Justin Gray.
I'm just telling you this: Cooper Flagg is going to the NBA. Whether you like it or not, he's not staying at Duke. There's no way. There's no way he does.
Do you think that this big 3 right now is better than the Zion, RJ, and Cam Reddish?
I think that I don't necessarily think they're more talented. I think they're a more connected group than those guys were 3 superstars trying to play on the same team. These guys are, don't get me wrong, they're superstars.
Yeah.
But they play really well together, and they all have different games. Like R.J. Barrett and Zion Williamson, they were very similar players all around. Like there wasn't a lighted up 3-point shooter, and then one guy was a slasher. Like they all played same kind of basketball.
Yeah.
These guys, they mesh really well. That's why this Duke team is so tough. I mean, they're just running through teams right now. Like Florida, I know they played UConn. Don't get me wrong. It's the former champs. You got to knock them out. It's hard to do. But, I mean, that Baylor team, they won the national championship 3 years ago. Their coaches won a national championship. Like, that's no slouch. Like, that you run through a team like that. And I'm a little worried for them about Arizona because Caleb Love only likes to play against Duke. I mean, first off, go get a job. Second off, like, what are we doing still in college? I'm so happy for this era to be over where we see these 7-year guys. Like, you're 25. You're playing guys that were born 7 years after you. There's a problem when that's the case.
That man was shopping for Legos when somebody was born. That's crazy.
That's nuts. But so it was a very chalky weekend in the tournament, which is the first time without a Cinderella team in the Sweet 16 since like 2009 or something.
Yeah, people are complaining about that.
First time with no seed higher than a 10 seed since 2007.
And there's one stat.
Shout out to Arkansas for going like on a like. I'm genuinely surprised. I kind of figured like they'd be out by now, but like, dude, they've played really good.
Yeah, I mean, Calipari. I mean, Kentucky ran him out of town. I think it was time for both sides to see a new face. I don't think there was anything wrong with that. I mean,
Kentucky too. Shout out to Kentucky. I mean, they're still in it.
I've got a friend.
What if we get an Arkansas versus Kentucky?
Please, I don't want to watch that. It is possible. Yes, it would be a national championship.
Watch Calipari go against his old team. That would be boring, but you know.
That would be boring. So we're hoping for it.
We're not hoping for it. That would be kind of crazy to see. But
it would be crazy. It would be crazy. I'm hoping to see Texas Tech in it. Like their path opened up so much with getting Arkansas. I don't care. Like you can say Arkansas is on a run. I really could care less. They're still Arkansas. They're gonna that team that went 7-11 in conference play is gonna show up at some point.
I don't know. For last week's show, you were talking about Ole Miss and how dookie they were, and then they ran UNC.
Just because they're a football school, like Arkansas. What are they? I guess a baseball school. Like
everybody's sitting there.
Nobody expected that out of Ole Miss. Nobody expected that out of Ole Miss. Come on now. But yeah, I don't know what y'all guys did. You guys enjoy the weekend? I'll get everybody's take on that before we dive into it. I know Jackson didn't have a good weekend for a few reasons, but we won't get into that.
Reasons.
Jackson,
I cashed my one of the weekend on women's basketball, so that's all that matters.
What happened? What happened, Jackson? You good, buddy?
You lost
need a
money.
hug or something?
Like an 0-8 until last night in the bets.
Oh.
Yeah, 0-8 until I put in North Carolina money line and UConn to cover the spread in women's basketball. That cashed.
That's what we're talking about. Small.
I mean, look, if you Cookout's hiring, all right, buddy. They gotta. You need some money. Cookout's hiring.
I may be, but
it was bad weekend
for the future national championship. So we'll see how that goes.
They pay extra for night shift, so you go night shift, come straight into the studio.
I don't know if I can work a night shift. I'm kind of tired at 10 o'clock.
Really?
Sound like Patrick over there. I will say that it was also not – first off, don't ever text your friend that you have a new meta against the betting apps because you don't. Like you text him that, and then 4 of the props that I said I had a plan for all missed. So, I mean, I can't – you just can't – I knew better when I sent it. But because I knew he was going to look back on it and be like, oh, this might really work. It didn't work. It was a bad plan. And maybe it'll work this weekend. I put in a season-long MLB play on all my money and just said, I'm not going to play anymore. I'm sure I'll be depositing money Thursday morning. But this is not gambling advice. You don't want it, like we always say. But anyways, a very, very chalky weekend. And it probably should have been the best betting weekend because it was so chalky. But, of course, we want to see underdogs win. You bet on underdogs. That didn't happen for anybody this weekend. I think it was bad for the first round of March Madness to have that, and I think NIL has caused this. But I think you're going to see the greatest Sweet 16 we've ever had just on terms of straight-up basketball. Great basketball teams. I think you're going to see the best Elite Eight. I think you're going to see absolute wars in the Final Four. Like, I'm talking these kids are going to have to literally forget they're getting paid kind of wars in the Final Four and in the national championship. Whoever wins it this year might be the greatest champ to ever do it. Just saying. That's the difference in NIL college basketball and NIL college football. Because the development is completely different. Like the college football players aren't developing as much, so we don't have as good college football teams. These college basketball teams, they're able to get all the talent, all of it, because there's only a few roster spots. And so, in my opinion, this is going to be the greatest Final Four ever. And I know Dr. Bull is going to hate hearing me say that.
He is going to have something to say.
So, what matchups are y'all looking forward to in the Sweet 16? Because, I mean, my personal favorite, and I know Jackson's going to hate this, I love that Auburn-Michigan matchup. Janiah Broome against 2 7-footers, give me that all day, even though I'm sure it's at like – no, they're all at night. I'll get to see them.
Okay. I'm going to go not the bougie one, which is obviously Arizona versus Duke. I think everybody's interested to see around that with storylines. I think that Kentucky-Tennessee is going to be a pretty solid game.
I agree.
I think Tennessee pulls it out, but I think Kentucky gives them a very fair fight.
I think Kentucky's getting healthy. I could see them making a Final Four run. Might be crazy to say, but I like that team. Even if they shoot it well,
They've done really well.
watch
They've
out.
played well.
Avery, I'll let you go because I got probably 3.
I mean, I know
There's only 8.
Justin wasn't big on
bracket right
Arkansas,
now.
but I feel like that game's actually going to be pretty good.
I think it will be. Yeah.
Arkansas's hot, and so if they can continue that, I think it'll be a really good game. If they don't, then it's either going to be one of the best or probably the worst matchup so far.
And I think Texas Tech is hotter than people give them credit for. That Drake win is a lot better than people think. They see that 11 and they're like, okay, they beat an 11. That Drake team should have probably been about a 6 or a 7. They're probably that good. Not anymore because their coach is leaving for Iowa. But go ahead, Jackson.
All right, Jackson, what side of the bracket are you ready for?
I think all sides. I'm going to go I think that Florida Maryland's going to be good. Derek Queen, I mean, he's from Baltimore.
Travel.
It wasn't travel, but he's from Baltimore. So, and then that Kentucky beat them twice in the regular season. So Tennessee's coming back. They may try and make their, first ever Final Four?
Yeah, first ever.
I think so.
Yeah. And then
You hear that, Tennessee fans?
Jabin.
And then the BYU and Alabama game. That's going to be like the highest scoring game of the whole tournament. So excited for that one.
Yeah, it was weird St. Mary's in Alabama because it was complete opposites. And now we're getting literally like the exact same teams. I think BYU's going to win the game. I picked them to the Elite Eight. I think J-Ben did too. Alabama's playing well. I don't know, something about – I know BYU doesn't play a ton of defense either. I just think that they play tougher defenses in the Big 12. And I know that's complete 180 from college football. But I think they face tougher defenses, and I think they know how to adjust to high-flying offenses. I just like this BYU team. I have all year. They're gonna meet a stone wall in the Elite Eight should they beat Alabama. But I think it could be a good run. I think that's the Cinderella for this year is that 6 seed BYU.
All I'm saying is, one, keep an eye on the state of Michigan as a whole this weekend. My God, that place is going to be stressful. But we have not talked about this very under-the-radar Michigan State team that is about to find
Because
themselves.
they're going to lose.
You think they're going to lose? You think they're going to lose to Ole Miss? Okay. Even though you said last week we don't bet against Tom Izzo in March.
Yeah, but we're betting against you this week. Why do you think I lose my money? I didn't say I make great decisions.
Look, I think
say
they
he's
find
not on
themselves
a
in
good
the-
streak
They
right
might
now,
find themselves in the
so-
Final Four.
Yeah, if you want to fade everything I've said, probably your best bet. I'm still in denial that Clemson's not playing, so I'm excited for the Houston-Clemson matchup this weekend.
Look,
I
we
texted
just
my
gotta-
dad on
we gotta
Saturday.
stay
I
with
was
it.
like, I can't wait to play Purdue in 20 minutes.
Awkward.
I'm in denial. But
Well,
anyways,
how do you feel about the Will Wade and Amir Khan coming to NC State?
first off, if I see that guy one more time, I'm going to go down to wherever the heck in Louisiana McNeese State is. I heard the name the other day. Charles Point, High Charles, something like that. Lake Charles. That's what Lake Charles. Lake Charles. And I'm gonna, Amir Khan, but I don't like the guy. I like Will Wade. I think that's a phenomenal hire by NC State. I think they're going to be top of the ACC. This is horrendous news for North Carolina. I think it's terrible for North Carolina because they kept Hubert and they're going to continue being an 8 seed and make a Final Four run and back to an 8 seed, barely getting in the tournament. I'm not big on Hubert, never have been, but North Carolina State is going to be at the top of that triangle. When Cooper Flagg leaves and Duke gets their next 5-star and he's not Cooper Flagg, Cooper Flagg's a different level. He's like a 12-star. And that's no glaze there. That's just straight up. That man's
no
an
glaze.
NBA player. That's an NBA player in college. But I think North Carolina State's going to run the triangle for the next few years, especially. I mean, it's so hard with NIL. It's so easy for Will Wade, but it's going to be hard to tell, obviously. But I think that is the best hire they could have made. I hope the manager doesn't go because I swear to you, if I'm a manager at Clemson next year and I see him when we go up to Raleigh, it's going to be a war when we play in the manager
Are we gonna
basketball
see
game. I
Justin
might play him in the
and
manager
state
basketball
manager
game.
just going at it in the
I
alley?
want all the smoke. Come in here. Or who? First off, why are
What are
we
you gonna
signing
do
him
if he's
to
got a?
NIL?
What are you gonna do if he's got some audio of you talking smack right now? And he's like, "You want this smoke? You want
I
this
want
smoke?"
all
You guys
of
just
it.
start
Do
doing
you, do you see that guy? I would love to play him in one-on-one. I'm sorry. I'm
Are you
taking
going-
myself over Amir Khan
Is it?
or a
Is
guy
it? Are you going
every day.
Yeah.
It's head top all the time. I'm just smoking that guy 11-0. I'm sorry. That's got to be the least athletic dude I've ever seen. That's not even me hating. What are we doing signing him? He's making more money than the guys at McNeese State. There's something wrong there. I'm sorry. I would be jealous. Maybe that makes me a bad guy. But if
No, you got a
I'm
fair
out
point.
there pouring it out and I'm not getting paid $100,000, but this guy's walking out with a boombox that's weighing him down, I'm going to be a little upset. I'm sorry. That's just my take. And if I see him on Instagram again talking about the rumors of him going to NC State, who cares? The man's going to be a grad assistant. First off, he's going to stop doing his job, like wiping up floors and all, because he's going to have $100,000.
Oh, he already
Don't
did
hire
that.
a grad assistant. What?
He already did that. Did you not see the clip of one of the McNeese jerseys ripped? And they looked at him to go grab a new jersey, and he was like, "No, I don't do that." And then one of the other managers went.
That's where it loses me. And there's more. That's the problem. There's more managers on staff that are doing the same, probably more than him, and they're not getting paid. This is where NIL got me going crazy a little bit. Let's not pay team managers. They're getting their tuition paid for. That's good enough. I don't even know. The McNeese State tuition's got to be like $2,000. No one's really going to McNeese State unless they're going to play basketball for Will Wade because he's one of the best coaches in the country. I'm sorry. And first off, that's very NC State of them to hire someone that has scandals in the past. That's just an NC State move. Duke and North Carolina are too good for him. I'm not saying he did anything wrong because it's legal now. Obviously illegal when he did it, so I guess it is still wrong. But North Carolina and Duke are a level above Will Wade in their own minds, so they wouldn't have hired him anyway. But that's the perfect move for the Wolfpack. Perfect move. Anybody got anything else? Any other basketball storylines or anything y'all want to say before we move on to our last segment?
No, I just think we're in for some good basketball, man. It's go time.
He's just dreaming of Cooper Flag over there. Duke guy.
I just think
He's
we're in
coming
for
back for another year. I promise.
You know what? I'm gonna laugh when he does, and you're gonna be
He
crying.
does. I'll give you props.
Hey, you should be hoping too, especially if you're gonna be up there at Clemson. You'd want to go see him courtside.
I'm not. That's some glaze I didn't do now. Come on now. I want to see him courtside.
Yeah, go watch him courtside while you're down there
I could have
working.
bought tickets if I wanted to see the man courtside.
Oh, sorry, Justin's.
He's an NBA.
Justin's
He's
got
an
some of
NBA
this over there.
He is an NBA player, but like I don't hope he comes back to Duke so I could see him next year on the court. Like that's Patrick level glaze right there. Like
This is crazy. This is crazy.
anyways, that's all we got for basketball. It was a great tournament. Obviously, everybody's brackets toast. I know Jackson's is. He had a lot of upset. Big on the UC San Diego. They almost pulled it out, but that was probably one of the best first round games. Besides, of course, McNeese upsetting Clemson, which I had to see the entire weekend. Don't recommend your team being the highest upset because that's not fun at all. Kentucky fans, I know how you feel now. But anyway, we'll move on to our MLB preview. So this is the moment I know Avery's been waiting for like 6 months now. Last time we did a virtual podcast, or maybe one back, was when the Braves got put out of the playoffs by the Padres in the wild card round. That feels like yesterday. It's come fast, and I'm excited for it. They play on Thursday, like less than 40 hours away, in San Diego. It's going to be an interesting year. I think
on Thursday.
14. Is it 14? Or I thought it was 310. It's
14.
14. You're right. You're right.
Right now.
I hope
14.
and pray I'm able to watch it. If I'm not able to watch the first pitch, this will be the first time I missed the first pitch of the season in like probably since I was in about first grade. Like I used to get out of school every year to watch it. Like that's just my dad used to get me out to watch opening day.
That's real.
That's
That's so crazy.
Why is that so crazy?
No, that's not crazy.
Avery's like, I didn't even go to school on opening day.
No, we used to do that.
There were
for
some
Georgia
days that I
Southern
did
stuff,
skip
so I
for
get
it.
it.
Like, I mean, that is it's first off, first point, petition it to be a national holiday,
Got
or
that,
let's
Donnie
start it on
Trump?
Friday. Or let's start on Friday. I know a lot of people don't understand the hype behind opening day because there's 162 games, and that's warranted. But like my entire life, I'll always look back and remember my dad getting me out of school to watch the Braves play opening day. Even if they were going to play the next day, it was still like I'm going to get my kids out. My kids aren't even going to go 3 days before. We're going to watch podcast and 2021 Braves World Series highlights for 3 days up until opening day every year. Like that's just what we're going to do.
Justin, this is hilarious. You sound. I can see you now when you're like 70 and just telling your grandkids, "Yeah, your great granddaddy used to check me out of school. Go watch the Braves play on opening day." Like I could just see it now, dog. Oh
Of
yeah,
course, they're not the
we
Braves.
watch,
Turn on the sports
Chip
squad.
Jones, Chipper who? Oh, I can hear it. I can hear it.
But
dude.
anyways, yeah. So that's at 14. I hope I can watch. It's going to kill me if I can't. But I'm excited for the season. I've got some points here I wanted to ask you guys. Can the Braves, and I'll let everybody chime in, can the Braves get back on top of the NL East? I want to hear everybody's take because I think I have a little bit of a different take about it. And I've already made mine known, but it's kind of a different side of that. So I'll let Jaxon go first and tell me what he thinks about the Braves since he's stuck with the Braves in the MLB side of things, as he said last week.
See, I'm probably the most baseball casual out of all of us. Like I don't really buy into it until maybe early October.
But Jaxon was into it last October. I got to give it to him. He was into it.
But I mean, it's the same answer every year. If they're healthy, they're on the top. So if they
I
stay
agree.
healthy, I think they take home the NL East and then hopefully end up in the World Series.
Hopefully.
I would have to say I think the NL East runs through Atlanta. I still think it does. Whether I don't care how much money you throw at players. I still think year in and year out until we see a noticeable change in the division. I think it still always runs through Atlanta somehow, some way. Do I think they can win it this year? Absolutely. Do I think they can very well lose it this year? Absolutely. Phillies are good. The Mets, made the playoffs last year and went farther than the Braves did. So I mean, Marlins suck. Nationals, they're like whatever. They're just there. So we'll see. But my take is as long as the Braves keep doing what they do, I still think the NL East runs through Atlanta. It's got to go through Truist.
I mean, I think they can, be a 96 win team easily this season if they are healthy. Acuna's not going to be back for a little while. Neither is Strider. Those are two kind of big pieces of the puzzle when it comes to this. But there's a reason there's so many games. I don't think they start out as the favorite once games start going. I wouldn't be surprised if the Mets and the Phillies both kind of get off to a hot start. But I'm not big on them maintaining that. They never do. I think the Braves can easily be a team that kind of just sits at third for a little while and then wins the games they're supposed to and takes the lead and wins it all. It's just if they can stay healthy, if pitching can keep going the way it is. I am a little worried about the outfield situation right now. But again, once Acuna comes back, it solves 98% of the outfield issues, in my opinion. So it's kind of it's up in the air right now, but I think they can well enough be a 96 win team easily.
So I'll start out by saying I think the Braves only spend 1 week or 1 to 2 weeks not in first place. That's it. I think that they start off poorly on the West Coast because they suck on the West Coast. So next week when we meet for this podcast and the Braves are 2-3 or 2-4 or 3-3, no one panic. It's part of it. We're getting out of the way early this year so we don't hit a slump and then it lead to more. We're going to be fine. The Braves are head and shoulders above the Mets and Phillies. Phillies, great rotation. I think they're a good team. I'll say this. The Mets will not make the playoffs. I put it on my Instagram today. The Mets won't make the playoffs this year. When your best pitcher is Clay Holmes, we could get into a lot there. Like, he's never been a starter. He's your opening day starter. Like I know they'll get Manea back. I know they'll have Senga and all those guys. That's fine. I'm just telling you that the Mets pitching staff is not good enough to win this division. They're not good enough to make the playoffs. Mets fans are going to be booing Juan Soto by the end of 2025. He'll hit 25 homers because he's in an adjustment year. Last year was a contract year, so he went nuts. He hit 42 homers. So the year after that contract year, it's a steady slope down a little bit. Mets fans will be in September, 12 games out of contention, 5 games out of the playoffs in the wild card, booing Juan Soto off the field. I'm telling you today, and I mean it, that they will be booing him off the field come September. October won't even be a thought. It'll be an afterthought for the Mets. What they'll be worried about is the future of their franchise over the next 14 years as they pay one of the most idiotic contracts of all time. So that's my thoughts on the Mets. Now, the
Jackson,
Phillies.
Got that? Clip all that. Clip it all, dude. Got that? Cool.
I'm fine with that. You see it right there. I am a Juan Soto hater. There's no doubt about it.
You can take
because
that
he's a career
and send it out
DH.
to wherever Justin's working next year, so that way when he's right, and we're all gassing him up because he's right and stuff like that, we can go watch the Braves games together and stuff. But yeah, make sure you clip that.
I'm going to be correct because I know how the Mets work. There's too much hype. There's too much hype around this Mets team. That never goes well. The Mets are only good in scenarios like last year when if own fans expect them to win 62 games and be fourth place in the division. That's the only time they turn out half decent. They cannot handle the pressure of being the number one team in New York because they think they are right now. I promise you the team across will finish with a better record. That's another story for another time. But the Phillies, I think they're about to start falling off. I think we've seen their climax these last few years. I mean, just think back to 2021, the year after the Braves won the World Series, and they played the Phillies and got knocked out by the Phillies. Who did the Phillies play in the first round? They played the Cardinals. They were 3 outs away from this run never happening. If they didn't score 6 in the top of the ninth in St. Louis, this run never happens. That started the run to the World Series. That started all this success. They are a few bad months away from missing the playoffs, and this magical run for them stopping. I think they're a phenomenal baseball team. I really do. I think they're good on the mound, but they're getting a lot older than people think. And Bryce Harper, this is year 15. It's crazy to say because, I feel like just yesterday he came up. But they're getting on the backside of some of these deals, and I'm starting to wonder when that's going to start falling off a cliff a little bit.
I like it.
You like it?
I like it.
You don't like the Phillies? I don't
No,
think. I mean, no one in their right mind like the Phillies.
Phillies
down.
Phillies down.
Horns down.
Phillies down.
Phillies.
Did y'all see the A&M baseball player put the horns down after a home run the other day? It was pretty sick. Coming around the plate, it was pretty sick. But I don't know what the big deal is about crying about that because it's literally a hand signal. But anyway, who are some of the sleepers in the MLB season you guys think? Like teams, maybe players that you have breakout candidates, some of those guys.
I'm going to need to think about this. I'm not going to lie.
Dude,
Okay.
I mean, not that it's a sleeper pick because they were pretty solid last year, and I'm sure Bulla will love this, but, man, the Orioles, they got that young group right there. I think they'll be good for a while. I think I don't know how much I trust their pitching and their rotation, but hitting-wise, I think they could potentially be one of the best teams in the league.
I think the Orioles are due for a run because we seem to be really good in the season, and it's not transpired into the playoffs. I think it's coming. I think they acquire a big name at the deadline on the pitching staff front of things. I think Grayson Rodriguez finally gets healthy, and I agree with that. I do think they can go on a run this year. I hope they do. I really like the Orioles, except those all orange jerseys look like we're playing prison ball. What are we doing? But
yeah, those were not good.
I have to say my sleeper team, no clue why, but they don't even have a stadium right now. So they're playing in one of the minor league parks. I'm going to go Tampa Bay. They're going to have to rally around. Tampa's rallying around the Tampa Bay Rays right now. So
the George.
I can't name a single player on the roster, but I'm just
you can't. And that's what's so beautiful about the Rays is you don't know who the heck they're trotting out there, but they're going to play well.
It's all about heart.
That's right. I mean, hey, I can give you money, but I can't give you heart. And the Rays, they got heart. That's one thing about it. Patrick's still deciding over there?
Dude, I really don't know. I was thinking about it. I really just focus so much on the Braves. I'd be kind of interested to see how the Yankees do this year. I know our guy Max Fried went up there. I'll be really interested to see how he pitches this year. I'm going to say that he's actually going to have an up year. I think he's going to have an up year, but then I think this is his one of his final really good years.
Who? Judge?
Huh?
Judge?
Stop.
Who are you talking about? Judge?
No, I'm talking about Fried.
Oh, Fried. Sorry.
Fried. I think that Fried's going to do really well up there this year just because I still think he's got something left in the tank.
I do too.
I don't think he had enough left in the tank for what he wanted, but I think he still got some left in the tank. So,
I can see a few good years off of that deal.
Yeah. So we'll see.
He's a lefty.
Yeah.
Justin, speaking of the orange jerseys, did you see Washington's new ones?
Oh, I did.
They're awful. They're awful.
Yeah, I was gonna agree. That was gonna be my first thing about them was awful. What are we doing? What are we doing with the MLB? We are not the NBA. We're not. We don't want those jerseys. Please stay away from that. We are not a joke. No offense to the NBA. All offense. But, we're not wearing them. The Braves did it right. If you're going to do a City Connect, do it like the Braves. The A. It's Atlanta. Whatever. Let's not go nuts. San Diego doesn't need to look like a highlighter box. What are we doing? I mean, and I actually like those. Let me say that. They look stupid, but they actually work. I just don't understand why we're trying to go to all this crazy stuff. Let's be who we are. represent where we're from, and play baseball.
Their original ones were one of the best ones, in my opinion, out of
Exactly.
the entire MLB. I can't
And
lie.
we got rid
They
of
were
them.
clean.
It's because the Nationals have been so bad since the World Series run that they're trying to make new things to sell because they can only sell the 2019 World Series shirts for so long. And I hope they do well.
Where there's the ones with like the flower, the
It
pink
used
flower.
to the cherry blossom. It used
Yeah.
to be the cherry blossom. Now it's just got a big logo that says DC on the left side of it up here. And I'm a little like I'm secondary colorblind, so I couldn't even tell you what colors are on there. But it's just odd. It just wasn't. And their manager came. It was a cool unveiling by the manager who come out in a robe and like opened it up for the players to see. He had on the jersey under it. Obviously, I don't think I need to say that, but I'll go with my sleeper team, and I think it's the Seattle Mariners. I think they finally put it all together. They have the best pitching staff in the league. If you have never looked into their statistics on the mound, it is incredible what they're able to do 1 through 5. Last year they had only six guys make a start. If you don't know how incredible that is, the Braves had 14 starters last year. 14. So they literally almost had their entire starting five for the entire season. I know that could obviously go downhill and George Kirby will start off on the IL, but I think the Mariners acquire a bat at the deadline. I think they're a sleeper team to win the World Series. I'm all in for Seattle. All in for Seattle. I think this could be a time where we're just shocked by the winner because everybody's like, the Dodgers are plus 290 to win it all. The World Series. Plus 290. Do you know how nuts that is? That is like the craziest thing I've ever heard. Like, we've never seen nobody be that high in the betting odds to win a World Series at the start of a season. Ever.
The Ohtani glaze, man.
I mean, they're fine. They're good. They'll win 110 games because the West will fall apart by the end of the season. But, like, I'm just not sold on that pitching staff. I know they've got all the names you can have. I'm not sold on these guys coming from Japan. You know how I feel about the country. So, I mean, their players are a product of it. Kudos to them. If you watched the Japanese series last week, Tokyo series last week, Dodgers swept the Cubs. Obviously, they were never letting the Cubs win that series, regardless. They would have taken the Cubs off the field before they let them win it. But yeah, I mean, the Dodgers are good, the Braves are good, the Phillies are good. I don't see anybody out of either Centrals that can win it all. I think the Tigers will be pretty good, but I don't think they'll be good enough to win it.
What about the
but-
Pirates? Paul Skeens.
Paul Steen's a great player. Pirates, horrendous franchise.
Yeah.
Horrendous.
They gonna win. They gonna win every time he's on the mound, but he can't pitch every game.
It's gonna be one of those years. If you look back at Jacob deGrom's Cy Young year, one of them, where he had the least amount of wins ever by a Cy Young, Paul Skeens is gonna break that this year. I think we're seeing a like trend of the worst baseball teams to ever exist. No offense. Like, I think the Pirates can be around 70 wins. Like, I don't think that's crazy to say. But like the White Sox, I've never heard of their opening day starter. If I've never heard of your opening day starter, we got some issues. And the Marlins, those two rosters, I was playing MLB The Show the other day. I knew one guy on both rosters, and that's scary. That is really scary because, like, you've got nobody, and their management's just not – they're not trying. They're not trying to – the Marlins, I spent more money in free agency this year than the Marlins. They spent $0. $0. I at least bought a Braves hat this year. Like, I spent more money than the Marlins management, and there's just an issue there for me. I think it's getting time for Patrick to hit the sack. I mean, he is about
It
to
might be. I'm tired.
fall asleep over there.
I'm tired.
Do we got
That's
anything else we want to say about MLB?
I'm good.
Schwellenbach, Spencer Schwellenbach. I think he's gonna have
Cy
a good
Young?
year. That's
Cy
why
Young?
I just think he's gonna be one of the better arms for the Braves this season.
No, I agree. I think he's a stud. Anybody have any MVP, just sleepers or just MVP like dark horses that nobody sees coming? Patrick can't see anything coming but his eyelids right now. Like, that's the only thing he sees.
Stop,
But-
Justin. Don't give me this. I'm about to have to go to sleep, dude. I'm falling asleep. I'm tired, dude.
Patrick, it is 10:30. It's 10:30. Like, I know it's late, but my sleeper, not to win the MVP, but I think he can be in the top 10. Lawrence Butler, athletics. Love that guy. Absolutely love that guy. I think he's a stud, and I think he'll be in the top 10 for the MVP votes. Get Lawrence Butler to Atlanta any means possible, please. I need to see him alongside Harris, Profar, and Acuna. But anyways, I don't have anything else if you guys don't have anything else.
NFL free agents. Russell
Yeah,
Wilson to the
NFL.
Giants.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That one hurt a little bit. I think he had a better year than he did last year. I mean, I think he had a better year than people think. I have no idea what the Steelers are going to do at free agent. Like, I'm starting to think that I'm going to get a phone call any day now. Like, I'm a little worried about the quarterback position. I just don't understand how you trade for DK Metcalf and don't have an answer at quarterback. That's my only issue with it. Like, what are we doing? We're putting more money on the books, and we have Mason Rudolph to throw to him. Like, I don't want to watch another year of Mason Rudolph. It's been 3 of the last 4 years we've watched Mason Rudolph. I'm done with it. Like, we could at least sign Fields back, and it would have been somewhat like, what if? But maybe they're about to make a big splash. If it's Kirk Cousins, it'll be better than Mason Rudolph. So let's just see what happens there. Take a flyer and hope it works out. Yeah, but that's all I got. Jackson's Browns signed Carson Wentz, so the Super Bowl runs back on. Here come the Browns. Any thoughts on the Carson Wentz signing?
No.
It's left him speechless. It left him speechless.
Rumor is we're getting Kirk Cousins, and then we're going to draft Abdul Carter. That's a rumor. But
Just what y'all
never
need
know.
is another defensive player, huh?
well, I mean, him and Myles Garrett coming from both sides.
Yeah, I mean, those 10-3 losses are going to feel a lot better than 24-3.
Coming right in Mason Rudolph.
But anyways, that's all we got here today. We missed Jabin. Obviously, we just said the game went final 20 minutes ago, so he wasn't fixing to hop on the podcast on the way home from Florence, South Carolina. Obviously, Marin was not on either. We didn't bother her with this tonight because it is late and it's on virtual. But thank everyone for listening today. A big thanks to our panelists for coming on the show. We'll be back next week with another episode. Sports Squad is a production of Bellringer Phoenix Media. Jasmin Garcia is the TVC Lab coordinator. Jaxon Garner is the producer. Dr. David Bulla is the coordinating producer. The opinions stated here are those of the individuals, not Augusta University. You can find us at aubellringer.com, on the Augusta Press website, on Spotify, and on social media. Please send your comments to bellringerproduction@gmail.com. Have a great day and listen again soon. This is Justin Gray saying so long. Back at you next week. We're out.